So let we shall start Om 3 times all together. Then Om Sahana Bhava. Om Sahana Vavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvisavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gangarubhyo Namaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswataye Namaha. Om Klim Kalikaye Namaha. Om Klim Bhadrakalli Namaha. Om Durgaye Namaha. Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. Harihi Om. Sankaram Sankaracharyam Kesavam Badarayanam Sutrabhasa Kritau Vande Bhagavanto Panaha Panaha Isara Gururatmete Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyamavadvyapta Dehaya Sidachina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Nama Brahmadibhya Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kardibhya Vansarishibhya Madhyo Namo Gurubhya Sarva Plavarahitaha Pragyana Ghanaha Pradayartha Brahmevahamasmi Brahmevahamasmi Brahmevahamasmi. Om Aneka Janma Samprapta Janma Karma Vidahinaha Atmayana Pradhanena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Namah Shivaya. So late. And now everyone is welcome to the world of Brahma Satyam. Jagat Mithya. Jagat Mithya means Jagat not the illusion. Jagat not the illusion. The apparent truth. So that is so Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. So Adikuri Shankara never he say that Jagat is the illusion. He never say that. He say Mithya. So therefore sometimes we have to get the proper translation or proper understandings. What Adiguru Shankaracharya, he tried to explain about the Advaita Vedanta. So we must be clear that many acharyas, they speak about Vedanta, but not many acharyas, many gurus, they speak about the Advaita Vedanta. The Vedantic school of Sankara is completely based on the Upanishad doctrine of the self, of the Atman, of the Atman. So therefore, Shankara has successfully interpreted the Upanishad text in the favor of Advaitism, but not many philosophers or the Darshanik, they speak about Advaita Vedanta. So there is the classical philosophy in India, classical called Sardarshan. So There is many philosophers, many darshanics also. They have their own thesis, they have their own realizations on the Vedantic understandings. So that the only, I'm speaking only means only one person, there is no other. So except Sankara, there is no one exactly explain the Advaita Vedanta, although there are different schools, especially in our Indian philosophies. That the dualism, and there called Ramanujacharya, Balabhacharya, Vasishtacharya, so many acharyas also there. But only Adiguru Shankara explain properly, interpret properly, even successfully Advaita Vedanta. So therefore, today I'm going to speak the Vedantic Darshan, but before going to speak Vedantic Darshan, you have to be very clear what Adiguru Shankara he tried to explain, and through the base of the Upanishads, based on the Upanishads. So therefore, Upanishads are the essence of the Advaita Vedanta. But before that, one has to clarify, one has to understand properly Nyaya, Vaisesika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Uttaramimansa, then they can study like Bhagavad Gita, Yoga philosophies, Brahma Sutras, and so on. Then come to the final Advaita Vedanta, that is Uttaramimansa. Or the we call Vedanta Khandana Khadya, even you don't heard these names, that the final arguments in the on the path of Advaita Vedanta, Khandan Khadya, that is very difficult part, that is the final aspect of the Advaita Vedanta. So we are not going to that so far now. So we have to start where you are. The root, according to the Adiguru Shankara, what he tried to speak about Advaita Vedanta, Acharya Shankara has developed Advaita Vada from the Upanishad doctrine of the Atman. But today, now I'm going to speak certain understanding the fundamental ideas of the Adiguru Shankara on the path of Advaita Vedanta or the Advaita Darshan. So therefore, and you have to be clear, the Shankara school of Advaita Vedanta, I mean Adiguru Shankara school, he tried to clearly speaking the Jagat is mithya, but not the illusion. You see, Brahma Satyam, Jagat mithya. So therefore, we have to be clear. And today, before I'm going to speak in Niralamba Upanishad, today main topics of the Niralamba Upanishad, that way what you are going to study on the Advaita Vedanta. So therefore, and that is very interesting. I read always the slokas. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nisprapanchaya Santaya Niralambaya Tejase Niralambam Samasrityam Salambam Vijahatiyam Sasanyasi cha yogi chakavalyam paramasnute. This is very good slokas in the Niralamba Upanishad, just sutra number 1. And these slokas I used to chant most of the time in my prayers, but I never know myself where it came from. Where it came from. Surprisingly, today I find out this Upanishad just happens before 1 hour I'm going to teaching Upanishads. All of you know Most of the time, I'm not preparing for any lessons, even Shiva knows. But it happens. And this mantra is exactly available in Niralamba Upanishad, which you never heard, because this is the out of 10 principal Upanishads. And this Upanishads comes surprisingly to me, because today I think about a lot about Brahman. What is Atma? Like yesterday you asked about the question, who am I? So these slokas are very nice. They say Kim Brahma, Kim Iswaraha, O Jivaha, Ka Prakritihi, Ka Paramatma, O Brahma, O Vishnu, O Rudra. So question mark comes, what is Brahman? What is Brahman? After they say, what is Ishwara? Why, who is Jiva? What is Prakriti? What is the Paramatma? And then they speak, what is karma? So this is the question mark in the Sanskrit, all the Upanishads. So today, and this Upanishad, very interesting Upanishad, not only for you, is for me as well. Because I never been studying this Upanishad myself. But the words are very clear to me because fortunately I have some knowledge of the Sanskrit. So therefore, I don't need so much even translations today. So therefore, so beautiful they explain Kim Brahma Kaiswaraha O Jivaha Ka Prakritihi Kaha Paramatma O Brahma O Vishnu. Even you can understand the Sanskrit words. Ko Rudraha Ka Indraha Sa Samanaha Ka Suryaha Kasandra Yeshuraha Ke Asuraha Ke Pisachaha Ke Manusyaha Ka Striyaha Ke Paswadayaha Kim Stavaram कि ब्राह्मणादयः का जातिः किं कर्म किं ज्ञानं किं सुखं किं दुःखं कः स्वर्गः को नरकः को बन्धः को मोक्षः कः उपास्यः कः शिष्यः को विद्वान् को मूढः किमासुरं किं तापः किं पदं किं ग्राह्यं Sasanyasi Sangasaya Brahmit. So they start the inquiry, what is Brahman? But the end of the day, all the answers coming, who is actually real sannyasi? So two things starts. What is Brahman and what is the definition of the sannyas? So after that, all the questions will be clarified. It's very interesting that. So all the question mark starts what I speak now. So that I'll clarify after only once. I'm going to little bit introduce about the Advaita Vedanta as for the Adiguru Shankar. So you have to wait. Acharya Shankar has developed Advaita Vedanta from the Upanishad, the doctrine of Atman. Numerous passages of the Upanishad can be cited to claim support of Shankar's view of Advaita. We have already cited passages from Upanishads to support the doctrine of one supreme self. In previous chapters, from death to death does he go, says Upanishad, who sees difference in this world, just as by knowledge of a bump of the earth. Everything that is made of earth comes to be known. All this being merely a word, a modification and a name, the ultimate substratum of it all being the earth, that just as by knowledge of a price of iron, everything made of iron become known. Similarly, by the knowledge of a Brahman, everything is known. I have some little bit of homework today, little bit. Because Brahman is the ultimate substratum of all. Or when you say in the beginning, my dear, this universe was being alone, one only without a second. Being alone that existed in the beginning, one only without a second. Yagavalk, that you already studied in the Brihada Upanishads. It is only when there seems to be a duality that one thinks about the other, but where the Atman alone is, what and where by me one think. So according to Advaita Vedanta, Brahma is the ultimate reality In ultimate sense, Brahman is devoid of all qualities. It is in inter indi, indi I say indeterminate and non-dual. It is a nirvishesha, untranscendent. Brahman is pure consciousness. Brahman is associated with the Maya, appears as qualified or the Saguna or the Iswara, who is creator, preserver, and destroyer of this universe. Brahman is the ground of the world which appears through Maya. According to Sankara, Brahman is the efficient and as well as the material cause of universe through Maya. There is no causality in Brahman without Maya. The world is an appearance, but from the phenomenal point of view, the world is quite real. You see, very interesting that. The world is appearance, but from the phenomenal point of view, the world is quite real. It is a practical reality so long as true knowledge does not dawn. So you find the world is so true unless you understand the Brahman is the real. That means true knowledge has to be realized within yourself. According to Advaita view, the self is pure consciousness, pure being. Jivatma is an appearance. It is phenomenal reality from the phenomenal point of view. Jivas are many, but actually the plurality of the soul is an imposition. Pure self is only one. Therefore, the Upanishads say, Tattvamasi. The self is identified with Brahman. In a true sense, Brahman is an absolute. Therefore, it is said that Brahman is everything and everything is Brahman. Sankara criticizes Brahma Parinamavad. So, what is the essence? What are the results of a Brahman, the absolute consciousness? The world is the Vivarta of Brahman. What that? Appearance is Vivarta. So, world is appearance. The world is Vivarta of Brahman. Appearance is Vivarta. Sankara does not declare the world to be an illusion. So, appearance is Vivarta. But Sankara does not declare the world is to be an illusion. So you have to be very clear that this point you have to note. You have to point. The world is the appearance of the Brahman. Say world is a Vivarta or Brahman. Appearance is the Vivarta. Sankara does not declare the world is to be illusion or the Maya. According to him, according to Adiguru Shankaracharya, the world is not an illusion. The world not an illusion, but it is mithya. So what is called mithya? Mithya means the world is neither real nor unreal. It's very interesting. How the definition of mithya? According to commentators, mithya means we say false or unreal, but they say that mithya means the world is neither real nor unreal, but mithya idea appears to be real. The passage of Upanishads mostly support Advaita view of Sankara. Sankara does not see the world and jivas are a mere dream. He says that there is a great difference between Swapna and the Jagrata. So therefore, fundamentally, we have to very clear. And like they said, example, the world and Jivatva is totally merely dream. But similarly, he says that there is a great difference between Swapna and Jagrata. It means the world and Jivatva, it has big difference. To explain the world creation according to Advaita view, the Advaita means the Advaita philosophers, Darshanik, introduce the concept of a Vivarta. In all the creations we find in the world, the effect is produced through a transformation of the cause into something else. The cause dies in order to give birth to the effect. In any case, in order to account of the emergence of the effect. Some form of alternation in the cause has somehow to be admitted. The Vivartabhada makes a bold attempt in this line. It tries to show that even in this there are illustrations of an effect being produced without any change or modifications whatsoever is the cause. The rope, snake, etc. are the classic examples that you study already. Rope and the snake as a seems illusion or the mithya. The example has been taken in the wrong way everywhere, and their true significance has been missed. It is assumed that by these examples, the Vedanta, another bearing, they only seek to show the unswelled nature of the cause, which is not touched in any way by the effect imposed upon it. As per the Shankaracharya, as for the Adiguru Shankara, he says, not by the fact that a water snake is taken to be a snake does it become full of poison, nor a snake being taken for a water snake become poisonless. Similarly, all the imperfections and limitations in the creation do not touch Brahman at all. The Vivartavada that keeps the whole cause unmodified and it explains the modification. The Vedanta states the classic examples of illusion because on the intellectual plan, there is no other analogy through which the unmodified nature of the cause along with the productions of the effect can be illustrated. So Sankara, so Adiguru Shankara preserves the real spirit of the self-doctrine of the Upanishad when it develops his non-dualistic philosophy from them. So this is the introduction as per the Adiguru Shankaracharya, and now we are going to study the proper understandings through the Upanishads. So we shall go through the Upanishad. So Niralamba Upanishad is very interesting Upanishad, and hopefully you'll check in future in the Google or have to do some homework for you in future. Niralamba Upanishad. So let's clear here. Again, I try to repeat the mantra very beginning. Before Niralamba Upanishad, they try to Santi part because every Upanishad has proper Santi part. Some Upanishad you study, you can study Om Sahana Bhavatu, or maybe other mantras like Om Bhadram Karnevihi Sriniyama Deva Bhadram Pasimasya Virya Jatraha Sirairange Stustavangam Swastanu Virivasema Devahitam Jadaivam Swastina Indra Bridhastrava, so on. So you can chant certain mantras. But today, in this Niralamba Upanishads, there is Santi part. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyati Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyati. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. I remember also in our traditional monastery when the acharyas and they teach the Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, especially in the Khalas ashram, they always start with Om Purnamada and with Adiguru Shankaracharya also how I chant the mantras. And then end of the also lessons, they also chant Om Purnamada. There is no Sahana Bhava. So it's very interesting. I never think about it, but I can understand because they are the Advaita Vadinis. So normally they try to conclude everything coming from absolute and everything end with absolute and remain the absolute. So then Sutta number 1, Niralamba Upanishad. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidanandamurtaye Nisprapanchaya Santaya Niralambaya Tejase Niralambam Samasritya Salambam Bijahatiha Sasanyasi Chayogi Cha Kavalyam Paramasnute. Those who are sannyasi, he became yogi and he attained the Kaivalya to the supreme consciousness. So we shall go to the proper translation. Om, I shall relate in the form of a cases in whatever should be known for the removal of all miseries that befall on these ignorant creatures. So this is the meaning is not very good translation, but we have to try to understand properly. Om Namah Shivaya Guravi Sachidananda Murti. But here, when you start Om Namah Shivaya, so it's related to Lord Shiva. But the translation, they don't keep the word of a Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya Guravi. So Lord Shiva is the real Guru, the Adi Guru, the first Guru, the primary Guru who understand the pure knowledge of the Brahma Gyan. So, Om Namah Shivaya Guru Sachidananda Murti. So I salute to the Lord Shiva as the Adi Guru, as the primordial Guru, as the Guru of a Brahma Vidya, and with the form of a Satchit Anand, and he the personification of the Satchit Anand, as also personification of the Supreme Adi and primordial Guru of the Brahma Vidya. So, very beginning, there was no one has the proper knowledge of the Brahma Vidya. So first, the person, you can say first person or first Devatas or Mahadev, whatever you give the name of Lord Shiva. So the first person who have the knowledge of Brahma Vidya. The origin of the Brahma Vidya is coming from the Lord Shiva. So therefore, the sutra say that Om Namah Shivaya Guravi Satchidananda Murti Nisprapanchaya Santa Niralamba Yate. So a person who free from all kind of prapanch, all kind of confusions, delusions, all kind of samsara, and all kind of miseries, karmas, and Santaya Niralamba, who have the power, the strength, and became harmony and peaceful. Niralambaya Samasritya Salambam Vijahatiha. And so here as for the sutras, Sasanyasi, Sa Yogi, Sa Kevalam Paramasmade. So Niralambam Samasritya Salambam Vijahati, a person, and who are free from all kind of miseries and free from the all kind of ignorance. And so, but another way to translate here, Lord Shiva itself, the sannyasi and yogi who have the attained the Kaivalya. But same time, the another translation, you have to, I'm salute to the Lord Shiva, who have the form, I'm salute to the Lord Shiva as a form of Satchidananda, as a primary Guru, as a Guru of Brahma Vidya, and through whom grace one can free, or to whom grace I can be attain the supreme consciousness, and I can attain the sannyasi, the yogi, or the supreme consciousness. So by his grace. So you can have two translations. So Om Sal I relate in the form of a physical catechism, whatever should be known for the removal of all miseries that befall on these ignorant creatures. But anyway, now we are going to second sutras. They say, Esa Magyanam Jantunam Samastareshta Santayeng Yada Budhabhyam Akhilam Tada Sankhya Brahmyamam. They say, what is Kim Brahma, Kim Iswaraha, Kim Brahma, Kim Iswaraha, what is Brahman, and Kim Iswaraha, who is Iswara, Ko Jivaha, who is Jiva, Kaha Prakriti, what is Prakriti, Kaha Paramatma, who is Paramatma, and O Brahma, who is Brahma, and they say Ko Vishnu, who is Vishnu. So then after that say Ko Rudraha, who is Rudra, Ka Indraha, who is Indra, who is Indra. They say Kaha Sasamanaha. Sasamanaha. This is who is the Paramatma. Then after that say Kaha Suryaha. Ka Kaha Suryaha. Kasandra Kesuram. Who is Vishnu? Who is Rudra? Who is Indra? Who is Yama? Who is Surya? Who is Chandra? Who are the Devatas? Who are the Rakshasas? Who are the Pisachas? Who are the Manusyas? Who are women? And who are the Pasus? What is Stavara? Who are the Brahman and others? What is Jati? What is Karma? What is Akarma? What is Jnanam? What is Ajnana? What is Sukha? What is Dukkha? What is Swarga? What is Naraka? What is Bandha? What is Moksha? Who is Upasya? Who is Vidwan? Who is Mudha? What is Asura? What is Tapas? What is Parampada? What is Grahya? What is Agrahya? Who is Sannyasi? Those are the questions. So again, I repeat this slokas. It's very interesting that. Now you understand English. So let me, and please, let me to read as a slokas, as a part of a prashna, as a part of questions. Kim Brahma ka Iswaraha, ko Jivaha, ka Prakritihi, kaha Paramatma, ko Brahma, ko Vishnu, ko Rudraha, ka Indraha, sa Samanaha, kaha Surya, Kasandra, ke Suraha, ke Asuraha, ke Pisacha, ke Manusyaha, ka Striha, ke Paswadaya, ke Stavaram, ke Brahmanadaya, ka Jatihi, Kim Karma, Kim Karma, Kim Jnanam, Kim Jnanam, Kim Sukham, Kim Dukham, Kaha Swargaha, Ko Narakaha, Ko Bandhaha, Ko Mokshaha, Ka Upasyaha, Ka Sisyaha, Ko Vidvana, Ko Mudha, Kim Asuram, Kim Tapaha, Kim Padam Padam, Kim Grahyam, Sa Sannyasi, Sa Sangaya Brahmete. So these are the questions. Is everyone listening me? Atmanan?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. So still we are busy for other things. Good. So these are the questions. That what I read in the Sanskrit and already I speak in English. So it's very interesting, the science. Very interesting. Then I'm going to answers for you. They say so hovacha is very interesting. It's very important for me to read the Sanskrit. Otherwise, you can't get the right meanings. Sanskrit. That is in ancient time. According to Vedantic schools, we study all the Sanskrit. We must recite the Sanskrit because it's very good for our conscious, unconscious, and subconscious mind. So that, and you can transcend the three stages of the consciousness in order to attain the stage of Turiyati. So when you chanting mantras naturally, and you are awakening and becoming conscious and becoming transcending the three state of the mind to the higher state of the mind. Even these mantras is not only mantras, these words is make you so much awakening the dormant state of the consciousness. So therefore, Sanskrits are very important. Like we study any kind of science, you like to study yoga philosophies or tantric sastra, tantra sastras, all the Sanskrit as well. Even Adiguru Shankara, he put everything in the Sundarlahari, in Anandalahari, even in the Sri Vidyas, even a lot of secret meanings there. So let I shall go through the what is Brahman. So they try to explain in Sanskrit. So hovacha mahat ahankara prithvi jovabhya kasatvena brihadvepina kanda koisena karma jnana trupataya bhasamanam makhilo padivirna muktam. I'll tell you, explain. Very interesting that I'm not going to speak the final words of this Upanishad. What they say, you know, final words that because when study yoga, we study always first chapter Samadhi Yoga and the results of yoga. Generally, we don't practice. Second chapter, they explain yoga of practice. Third chapter, Vibhuti path. And fourth chapter is a Kaivalya path. But always, why very beginning we study without practicing anything, but we want results of yoga. And yoga means the aim of yoga. So therefore, as we are human being, we expect so many things. Whatever doing, what can I get it? What I can get out of this? For example, I study 2 years course or 1 year course. What can I get out of this? If you study 1 month of teacher training, can I get the certificate to teach yoga? So that is your very beginning of the expectations, even without study 1 month. Similarly, and Patanjali also understand properly before going to practice yoga, actually what you expect, what you want. So therefore, very beginning, they explain Samadhi yoga. Similarly, I just tried to speak. Very nice. What happening after this Upanishad? They say, Idam means in the end of the day of this Upanishad. Idam Niralamba Upanishadam O Adhyate Gurubanugrahataha Suniputo Bhavati Sabhaipito Bhavati Na sa punaravartate na sa punaravartate Punarabhijayate Purnana Bhijayata Ittu Upanishadaha. So what that means? Whoever studies the Niralamba Upanishads becomes, through the grace of Guru, pure like fire. He becomes pure like Vayu, the air, the prana. He does not return. He is not born again. Maybe he is not born again. That repeating that 2 sentences. He is not born again. Again he said, maybe he is not born again. That is, they say, no punara vartate. They very beginning say he never returned. And again say, maybe not return. So 2 times they repeat these slokas. Sa punara vartate. Again say, punara bhijayate. So that is very interesting that. So 2 times they repeat. The sloka is repeating 2 times. You never return. Maybe you never return. So very good Upanishad to study. So, and I find out, so we have so many questions in long time for myself. It is all the answers are here in this Upanishads. And whoever studies the Niralamba Upanishad becomes, through the grace of Guru, so great master, pure like a fire. He becomes pure like a Vayu. It does not return. He is not born again. May he is not born again. So it means, so by the grace of Lord Siva, and one can find the right master, right Guru, and through that Guru's grace, one can attain the Brahma Vidya, and never return to this life of samsara, the miseries. So again, I'm going back to it. Sutta number 4, Niralamba Upanishads. So, and then, Sudham, Sivam, Santam, Nirguna, Mithya, Divach, Manivachan, Chaityanam, Brahma, Isvara iticha, Brahmeva, Swasakting, Prakritye, Bhidya, Masritya, Lokana, Srishta, Pravisantaryamitvena, Brahma, Denam, Buddhi, Indriya, Niyatra Twadi Swaraha. But I could read 2-3 times, but late. Today we have so much late. So you like to listen more translations rather than to listening only the mantras. So what is Brahman? It is the Chaitanya, the pure consciousness that appears through the aspect of karma and jnana. Through the aspect of karma and jnana are this vast mundane egg composed of mahat, ahankar, and the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, vayu, and akash. That is the second layer. That is devoted to of all upadishis, called vehicles. That is full of all saktis. That is without beginning and end. That is described as a pure, beneficial, peaceful, gunaless, and that is indescribable. That means undefinable. So that is called the characteristics of the Brahman in the short sentence. So what is Brahman? It is the pure consciousness, pure Chaitanya, and is appear through the aspect of karma and jnana. At this vast the five elements, water, fire, and akash, the secondless. So what I try to quote, there is very good Upanishad, is a Upanishad, when you study, Om Bhasmatam Sareram, Om Kratam Smara, Kritam Smara, Kratam Smara, Kritam Smara. This body is composed by the five elements called Mahat. And here they speak about the same things. The Mahat, Ahankar, the five elements. Earth, water, fire, Vayu, and Akash. So when this sloka they say, Om Isa, Om Vayuranilamitamethedam Bhasmatam Sareram Om Kradam Smara Kridam Smara Om Kradam Smara Kridam Smara. What happening? They say when this body is dissolved, this body is composed by five elements. When this body is dissolved, means end of the life. And when you die, what happens? This body is composed by five elements, but when this whole body is dissolved into fire, into the cremating place, what do you experience? Nothing. Bhasmatam sareram, the whole body is converted to ashes, the bhasma. Bhasmatam sareram, the jiva, the physical body, it dissolves into the handful of ashes. Then what you have to do? How to understand this? Om Krada Smara, Kritam Smara. That means, but two times they say, Om Kratam Smara, Kritam Smara, Kratam Smara, Kritam. They say two times, repeating. You must remember Om. You must remember again and again. Mantra Om. Smara. Smara means you have to remember. Develop the awareness. That means by chanting mantra Om, one mean. Going to understand. The body is composed by five elements, but after death is nothing but the bhasma, the full of ashes, nothing else. So let chant mantra Om, repeat the mantra Om, and realize the essence of the Brahman, the essence of a Chaitanya, that means the pure consciousness. And that is not possible to explain by the any words, is not possible, is called indescribable, is not possible to describe. And that the pure Brahman, the pure consciousness. But most of the time, and check yourself when you sometime, if you have time or sometime, go sometime, sit down near the cremating place, check it. For time being, or for momentary, you sometimes come to yourself. Is it also I'm going to die? Is it also I'm going to my body going to ashes? I do many times go to cremating place, but this year I was in the Varanasi in the Manikarnika Ghat. So I was standing almost 3 hours, spending. So one body after coming, the fire kept continuing. And I was sitting in the middle of the, standing in the middle of the, and the Manikarnika, middle of the smashan, middle of the cremating place, not around, but in the middle. And the side by the dead was going up. And then another dead body coming and they're putting the fire. I can watch. So very beautiful. Then there's some people who they're really cremating. They try to bring for me some chaya. I was sitting with them and drinking the chaya. Of course, as specifically japam to be done. And early morning, I was so far, I never have the chaya in the cremating place. Somebody offered me. I feel so fascinating how the grace of Mother Kali there. And dead body was there, fire is going in, and there was some guy there, and he said, "Oh, my like beggar," and someone he say, "I need to spend some time here. Can you give some money?" So I give 10 rupees. And still I keep continuing my mantras, japam, what I got the special. When I went to Kamakya, so I have special inspirations, certain masters there. So then I'm spending that. So when I remember when I'm chanting this mantra, my state of the consciousness goes to direct to Varanasi, the Manikarnika Ghat, the cremating place. I can see that live now, like this, and the side of Mother Ganges. So what I mean here, so when you spend some time, you can find, you can remember certain things. And sometimes we say, "Oh, what I speak, you don't listen." Generally, we will not listen. We sometimes say one time, second time, and third time. Why we say? Because the conscious mind not listen. The unconscious mind not listen. Also the subconscious mind not listen. That Jagrata and Swapna and Sushupti. We have three states of the consciousness. So therefore, we chant mantra Om for three states of the consciousness to remember properly. Sometimes we are not very much conscious. Our mind goes to the subconscious. Our mind goes to also unconscious. But same time, if you are in samadhi, your mind go to turiyati. So we have to not chant 3 times. So sometimes you speak, I will speak 3 times. Then 4th time, I'll get the punishment. What does that mean? Because 4th time you are already Brahman. So you don't need any punishments. Only get punished because when you are live in 3 state of the consciousness. Nobody can punish you. Nobody can punish you if you are entering the kingdom of Turiyati. So generally, in our common life, the life of samsara, so when we are feel guilty, because we are in 3 state of the consciousness, because the 4th state of the consciousness never feel guilt. So a Brahmagyan never feel guilt. So when somebody offended you, somebody make you feeling guilty, or you feel sometimes not somebody respect you because you are in 3 state of the consciousness. So when you are in Swapna, Jagrata, Swapna, and Susupti, you always will be offended by someone, you feel guilty, you feel whatever, and social, all kind of, for example, somebody not respect you, you feel uncomfortable, somebody not admire you, you feel uncomfortable, somebody angry on you, you feel uncomfortable, because your state of the consciousness is within and 3 state of the consciousness. But when you go to 4th stage of the consciousness, nobody can make you actually uncomfortable, or you feel ever guilty, or you're never going to expect any also respect. So that is the 4th stage, the Turiyati. And this kind of state of the consciousness, you, if you have good karma, sometimes you can find that the glimpse of the beauty when you're standing the middle of the samsara, the middle of the cremating place, because that you will experience what I am. I'm nothing, just piece of this body. When it dissolves, it enter into bhasmatam sari. Om vairanilaramitam bhasmatam sariram. Bhasmat means the whole body dissolves into bhasma, into ashes, the whole sari. Bhasmatam sariram. Om kratam smara, kritam smara, kratam smara, kritam smara. Let repeat mantra Om, 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 and Om. Let the experience. I'm not these 5 elements. I'm not this the body. But what I am is the full of ashes. Don't declare that time you are the Brahman. Don't think that way. When you go to cremating place, don't think. Intellectually, at least you can think. It is dissolve my body is nothing but full of ashes. So dissolve the body, what I get is nothing but ashes. But don't think that time you are the Brahman, because intellectually we cannot think that, because Brahman is beyond intellect and beyond 3 stages of the consciousness. So therefore, intellectually, we can't say we are the Brahman unless we experience that. And you have to go beyond 3 stages of the consciousness. But at the very beginning, at least you can understand, I'm not this Tula Sari. I'm not this physical body. I'm not the physical body. but at least consciously, intellectually, you accept yourself. I am not this physical body. Maybe a subtle body, maybe a rational body, maybe a cosmic body, whatever the body is, doesn't matter. Just keep it away. But at first, you'll experience, I'm not this physical body. So this must glimpse of the, you can say, glimpse of the Atma Jnana. Very beginning, at least you realize, I am not this body. And I am not these five senses or the five elements. So that is very interesting that. And that you can experience if you are a good meditator. And that is a good place sometimes when you have some difficulties. And I know I have some difficulties. So therefore I went there to sit down in the cremating place, part of my emotions. And I suppose I can understand. So I have certain kind of emotional difficulties I have. So I want to settle certain things. And to sit down there and standing there, I drink cup of tea and watching the Surya Bhagavan and Mother Ganges and around so many dogs there. So it was interesting, very interesting and very good experience. Then after that, then what we are going to speak, the second sentence, who is Iswara? They say, Kim Brahma Kaha Iswaraha. Who is Iswara? Who is Iswara? They say, who is Iswara? What are his characteristics? Brahman itself having through his Sakti and Prakriti. So it is very clear that who is Iswara? What are his characteristics? Brahman itself having through his Sakti and called Prakriti. So I'll take only 5 minutes of your times, then you close this lesson today. And next time we'll start. So who is Iswara? And what are his characteristics? Brahman itself, having through his Sakti and Sakti called Prakriti, matter, created the worlds and being latent in them, become the ruler of Buddhi and Indriyas, organs of sense and actions, as well as Brahman, the creator, and others. Hence is named Ishwara. So again, they try to give the characteristics. What is Ishwara? Who is Ishwara? So you know the translating Ishwara means something is not mortal, something is immortal. But again say, who is Ishwara? What are his characteristics? So Brahman itself having through his Sakti called Prakriti. So here the Prakriti is the Sakti that you know in the Sankhya philosophy, Purusha and the Prakriti. So Purusha is the supreme consciousness and Sakti. Sakti is, what is the Sakti? So Purusha, Prakriti, the Sakti of the Purusha. Like you study Siva and Sakti. So Siva is the Purusha and Sakti is the Prakriti. As per the science of Tantra. But as per the Sankhya philosophy, Purusha is the supreme consciousness, Prakriti the nature. So Sakti called Prakriti created the worlds. So Prakriti, the created the worlds and being latent in them, become the ruler of Buddhi. So who is the ruler of Buddhi? The Prakriti, the Sakti, the ruler of Buddhi, Indriyas, the sense organs, all kind of senses, and intellect, as well as Brahma, the creator, and other. Hence is named Iswara. So they say that again. So Brahman and Brahma, two different things. Yes, a Brahma, like Vishnu, and Brahma, Vishnu, what do you call Shiva even? They're the, but one side you see, very interesting that if you go into the Shaivism, if you go into Sadasiv, Sadasiv is the creator, is the created everything. Even Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. But we say Sadasiva and Shiva. What that difference? We have to be very clear later. Sadasiva is the supreme personality, but same time Shiva also supreme personality. So how can Brahman created the three? So Brahman created Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. But same time they say that Shiva is the creator of all. So Shiva created Brahma, Vishnu, also Shiva. But we have to understand what are the characteristics of the Shiva and what are the characteristics of the Sadasiva. So in good Saivism, the highest understanding of the Sadasiva. Sadasiva is the highest supreme personality of the Shiva. So it means Shiva play many roles. Sadasiva play many roles, right? Sadasiva and Shiva, like Mahadeva, like Rudra. So these are the how the Sadasiva, the supreme personality of the Shiva, how he play different roles in different times, different environments, different space. So therefore, it is like that. So if you understand Brahman itself, the Shiva, Shiva itself the Brahman. So Brahma and Ishvara is the, again I repeat, what is Ishvara? So Ishvara is the pure consciousness, but Brahman itself having through his Sakti called Prakriti. So Prakriti created the Buddhi and Indriyas, the senses organs, and as well the Brahma, the creator. Hence his name Iswara, but it's not going to all details. But Brahma is created by the Prakriti. Could you understand? Sorry, the Prakriti created the Brahma, and Brahma became creator. You suppose not confused here. Please understand. Sakti is called Prakriti, and who is Sakti? Is the Brahma itself having through his Sakti. Brahma have the Sakti. The Brahman, sorry, Brahman. Brahman have the Sakti. Is known as Prakriti, like Purusa. Purusa, the supreme consciousness, is Brahman. And Prakriti is the Sakti, like Siva is the Purusa, the supreme consciousness, and with the Sakti of Siva. So Siva has the Sakti, and Sakti created all. Even Sakti created the Brahma, Vishnu, and Siva as well. And Sakti created Buddhi, intellect, and so on. Am I clear that? Or I need to repeat this. It's very important to understand properly. So again, I repeat, what is Ishvara? They say, what are his characteristics? So Ishvara means Brahman, because Ishvara something is mortal. Sorry, Ishvara something is immortal, never die. Ishvara, something never going to die. Something not going to mortal. Ishvara means all the time is exists. So it's a character of Brahman. It's a Brahman itself having and his Sakti and represented so ruler of the Buddhi, the intellect, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, and who is the ruler? The Sakti, the ruler of the Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. Not that. The Prakriti is Prakriti also created the Brahman, Brahma, and hence others. Also, the Prakriti, the Sakti created Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva as well. So therefore, finally, his name is Iswara. So we can say that Iswara ultimately the name of Brahman, the Brahma. So, and whatever the created, so Brahman created everything, but he not created anything directly. He created everything, this whole world, also through his Sakti, through his Prakriti. That you have to be very clear. Then I'll speak about tomorrow, or we'll check the next lessons, or I may change the subject. And who is Jiva? And already I say that many things. And who is Jiva? And who is then again they're going to explain what is Prakriti, what is the Paramatma, so what is karma, and so on. So very good Upanishad. So we shall continue this. So today this much. But before I'm going to conclude in this lesson, I would like to ask if anyone have any inquiries today.
Hari Om, but cannot there be inquiry after Upanishad? After Upanishad, there is no more inquiry. Brahman, Brahman it is.
Okay, so thank you. Atmanan?
Yeah, it's like a Upanishad. You have the list and then you have the names of the different Upanishads and very nicely listed and described which Upanishad talks about
Show
which
your face a
topic.
little bit.
Huh?
Show your face. Can you show your face?
And then my question is, the Upanishads are always part of the Veda, and I always try to trace it back to the origin. But in the Vedas, there's text and Sanskrit, and there's no list of there. Here is the Niralamba Upanishad. This is about this and this. This is not in the Vedas, so there's no index, and I'm lost. I don't know where to find it in the Vedas. I have it here in the Upanishad, nicely listed. But if you trace it back to the origin, then you can maybe see maybe they did something different in the book, and if it's equal, if the text is equal. That's the reason why sometimes I have 5 copies of one text, because I want to check out if they make any difference in the writing. So that's my question, where I can find it in the Vedas.
Thank you. So, Maitreyi, the Marian.
Swamiji, namaste. Thank you so much. Your lesson very interesting. I like to repeat every time different aspects. It also make awaken energy. Rigved, Samved, Yajurved, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakran, Niruk, Chhan, Jyotish, Nyaya, Yoga, Karma, Mimamsa, Veda, and that repeat every day. Different aspects.
Okay, so that means today, and
Yeah.
actually this is very interesting that this Upanishad especially itself is the self-inquiries. So itself, it is a lot of self-inquiries. Even I personally have no questions, but after this, and we can actually have some self-inquiries comes, or some question can comes. What actually they left in these sutras. But same time, we can have the also question because not the clearly everything to explain. Like we study like Yoga Upanishads, Yoga Sutras. So clarify each steps. But here they not actually, we have to go more details as well. But at least we have very essential things that the questions are here. All essence what you need actually. So, and very good Upanishads, and which is not in the 10 principal Upanishads. Please, Shiv Puja.
That was my question. Does it belong to the principal Upanishads or not? But you just said
No, no, my dear, because I am a classical study of the Vedanta in the monastery. It is not 10 principal Upanishads. It's out of 10 principal Upanishads. Therefore, I never heard this. I studied 10 principal Upanishads, Sankara Bhashya. But this Upanishads is not in Sankara Bhashya. Is not in 10 principal Upanishads.
Okay. Okay.
Even I was teaching last year, Avadut Upanishads is not in the 10 principal Upanishads. 10 principal Upanishads are essential, is enough to be Brahmagyan. But lot of things we are studying, like we study yoga, Sankhya, Tantra, Mantra, Hatha Yoga, Asana, Pranayama, Kundali. So we have so many informations, but how to clarify them? So it's good to clarify with the different Upanishads as well. Like we study Upanishads. So sometimes when you study clarify, you can go beyond this. Go beyond this. Am I clear that? Like Valmiki Rishi, he only chant Ram, Ram, like Mara, Mara, nothing else. He don't study all these things. He have no confusions. He simply chant Mara Mara and Ram Ram. He entered into Samadhi. And he was written the Valmiki Ramayana. Valmiki Ramayana. So what I mean here, so far we are so much confused, so much doubts. So we need more book, more study, more Upanishads, more Shastras, more Tantras, more mantras. If you simply surrender and close your eyes and meditate like Ramana Maharshi, you get everything. So it's all school, all gurus, no need to go here and there. So for us, we need so many things to study because we are so much confused and we need to more clarify. Like when so many roads, so you need a proper kind of how say GPO to drive to the destinations, right? When so many roads, so you need to have proper geography or proper road map the car, right? If you have only one road, so you don't need all this technology. You simply drive to destinations all the way. Am I clear that?
I have
Okay. So this much today, and thanks to all of you. Please.
a little more just to clarify. So when they talk about the concept of, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, dear.
Okay. So when they talk
I
about,
can hear.
I think my internet is unstable, but anyways, when they talk about the concept of Ishvara here, it means that there is that Ishvara that could be supposed by any name according to whom you are devoted to. It could be Sadashiva, it could be Brahma, or it could be Hari, or I don't know who else. So, but that Ishvara then had a potency, a Shakti that arose from Ishvara, which created then everything else, all the different kind of names and forms. Yes or no?
One way, yes, but we have to be a little bit more clarify these questions. It's not a simple question you ask me. You understand me? It's not a simple questions. I need to more details go through this because I cannot speak only one sentence today because we have many traditions, many beliefs, and how people really represent the Ishvara. Each and individual disciples. For example, somebody studies Saivism. So they may be called Ishwari the Lord Siva, right? Somebody, and for example, somebody following Sankhya philosophy, for them Ishwara is the supreme conscious. Somebody maybe follow the Lord Krishna. They think Lord Krishna is the Ishvara. So therefore, Ishwar have depend the definition according to Brahmavadini. I'm speaking here the Brahma Vidya. I'm speaking especially the Upanishads, Brahma Vidya, Advaita Vedanta. So here Iswara is, which is the Brahman itself.
Okay, but this
Brahman itself the Iswara.
But that was my question, because I asked if that Ishvara can have many names according to people's faith.
No. Ishwara has many names exactly. Sorry. Ishwar has no many names. The definition is not exactly. Ishwar itself the Brahman. But when you see that Ishwar here, you can give the name Siva, but you can say Hari or Krishna, but this is not the, because these words are when coming, it can also die. Ishwar means something not possible to describe. Ishwar means something to explain. Ishwar is not something to define. Like Krishna, you can define. Hari, you can define. Brahma, you can define, right? By the words. But Ishwar is something not possible to define. Like Siva. Like Lord Siva. How we define Lord Siva? So Lord Siva is the unknown, the consciousness of unknown. the eternal consciousness, the pure consciousness. Ishwar is the pure consciousness. But when you say Hari, Krishna, Rama, you can define certain things.
But Swami,
As per the mythology.
people in Shaivism, they do define Shiva as well. They define Shiva as with form and without form. So form means there is this matted hair and the moon and the snake and so on.
Yes, you can define as part of your devotion, and we have no objections to that. But if you go to Sadasiv Puran, the Sadasiv, the higher understanding of the Saivism, higher understanding I'm speaking. Of course, as per the Vijnana Tantra, so we have to go to Sakar to Nirakar, right? So Sakar to Nirakar, we worship to the Lord Siva as a Sakar, like Siva Lingam, or the Yoni, or the snake, or the like gentleman, either tribe man, he have tried, but this is out of our imaginations, out of our understandings, or out of our visions, as per our own state of the consciousness. But a higher understanding of the Shiva is not possible to define. Not possible to define. Therefore, we say very good sutras in Shiva Sutras. Asitagiri samam sataram kajalam sindhu patre suratarubar sakha lekhani patarmaving likadi adigrahitva sarada sarvakalam tadavita gunanami samparam na jati. So, Lord Shiva is not possible even as a devotional way. Even a devotional way is not possible to define all characteristics of the Lord Shiva. So, as per the Vijnana Tantra, Lord Shiva itself the pure consciousness. But I am also devotee of Lord Shiva. I also receive to Lord Shiva as per my own understandings as well. But when I'm teaching in Advaita Vedanta, when I'm going to teaching you the science of Brahma Vidya, especially the enlightenments, so actually that's not possible to define. So as per devotion, of course, you are welcome to worship to Lord Shiva as per the Sakar forms, right? But these Sakar forms, it can help you to experience in Nirakara, but only unless we are experiencing Nirakara, so still we have the sufferings, we have the miseries. So our aim of the Advaita Vedanta or the Shiva consciousness to reach where we can liberate. And once you liberate, then come back again to devotion as well. So you can live in the both world. So I'm not going to speak with you. If I worship only the form of Lord Shiva and you are liberated, no, it is good, but still the difficulties are there. So as a Acharya myself, as a master myself, so in this platform, so I had to take you both. So very beginning come to Sakara, then go to Nirakara, and where you can liberate yourself and return to the Sakara as well. So here the definition of Ishvara is something immortal. As you see that we can give different names, but if you go higher understanding of the Advaita Vedanta, and whatever the forms you created is also not the final liberations. Am I clear? Wherever the name and forms, there is absence of enlightenments as per the context of the Advaita Vedanta, as per the context of Brahma Vidya, as per the also context of a Vijnana Tantra as well, the Saiva consciousness. So, in the very beginning, when you say ask Ishvara, I can give the name Hari, Shiva, right? That is where you ask the questions, right?
Yes, I asked in the beginning if I understood correctly that there is that Ishvara, and then because this is what they speak about here, from that Ishvara arose Shakti, the power to create, and so from that Shakti of Ishvara, then became many names and forms of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, so on. But they also
So
ultimately then that only that Ishvara Brahma Brahman not
yes, but Ishwar is the Brahman itself. Ishwar is the Brahman itself. So then you can say Ishwar means something which is immortal. The name and forms are not the immortal. It can die anytime. It's not the mortal. It is not immortal. So Ishwar means something is immortal, is eternal, is it was, it is, it will be. Am I clear that?
yes. And now I'm remembering that in the
So therefore,
in Patanjali he said who is Ishvara? Ishvara is Om. But he only said that much.
yes. Say Pranavaha Ishvaraha. They say not only that, say Pranava Ishvara. By chanting mantra Om or meditating on Om, one may reach the immortal. This is Pranava Ishvaraha. Pranav means mantra Om, but Pranav means ancient name. So Pranav is the mantra Om here. This is a more ancient. So Pranava, the origin, is the Ishvara. So Om is the Brahman. So therefore Om is the form and also formless. So therefore, by meditating on Om, by chanting Om, repeating Om, that leads to all the way the transcendental consciousness. Therefore, Ishvara. Ishvara is something which is transcendental consciousness. Am I clear that? So Ishvara is something the transcendental consciousness. Clear now? So late we have defined next time because already today is the late. So we'll explain this is more elaborately. Okay. So thanks for the questions today. And I try to conclude these sections. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidanandamurtaye Nisprapanchaya Santaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Sankaram Sankaracharyam Kesavam Vadarayanam Sutramhasa Kritam Vande Bhagavanto Punaha Punaha Ishvara Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyamavadhyapta Dehaya Sri Dachina Murtaye Namaha Om Aneka Janma Samprapta Janma Karma Vidahinaha Atmajnana Pradana Tasmai Sri Gurave Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Let everybody repeat with me. Lokaha samasta sukhina bhavantu for 5 times. Lokaha samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Thanks to all. So may God bless you all and our Gurudev. Swami Sivan Adi Guru Shankaracharya bless you all to walk the path of Brahmagyan for the final